Oh, hello. I am Miriam, co-founder and COO of Keto Chow.
I'm Chris, also a co-founder, president, and the technical guy behind Keto Chow, and we decided we would go a little early tonight.
A lot early.
We'll get to more of that early.
It's fine.
But if you're brand new to Keto Chow, it's a nutritionally complete meal designed to make doing keto super easy.
Duper easy.
We also have some electrolyte supplements that are amazing for everyday use and for keeping the dreaded keto flu away.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the little bell icon for updates on all the Keto Chow happenings. These live streams help us be accountable and stay on track, so thanks for joining us on our keto journey.
Evelyn says, because Chris has already started down the honorary path this evening. I actually did get a bit grumpy about something. It's just because...
Yeah, you totally yelled at me, but
no, I didn't yell.
Mean to yell
I yelled
me.
To you?
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of inputs coming. I was like, hey.
Direction of me.
When you're telling people time, you have to tell them what time zone. Okay?
What?
That's it. Anyway, we
Unless
got
they
Amy
live in
here.
the same time zone as
Well, almost 50% of the U.S. population lives in the Eastern time zone. So we typically will put stuff in the Eastern time zone, but we have to say Eastern time zone, or else the people in the Pacific time zone are like, is it our time zone? Like, that's 3 hours later. Is there air? You don't know. For all you know, I'm just crewman number 6 who dies before the first commercial break.
That's true.
Galaxy Quest was the best Star Trek movie ever made.
Does the rolling help?
Not minors. Best Star Trek movie ever made, according to the cast of The Next Generation.
Okay.
Just saying. All right, we got Amy here in Storm Chasing Gal. Jerry is here
Storm
as
Chasing
well.
Gal.
So is Michelle
Jerry.
and Faith.
Hi, Evelyn.
Amy says, I'm pumped. I got the test
Michelle.
salty yesterday on our hottest day of the year. It was so much fun to drink a surprise salty.
Yay.
I filled out the feedback form. Are all 3 the same flavor?
Yes.
So there's one batch, and all 3. The reason why there are 3 is because we figured people might want to have multiple times to taste the flavor.
Or share with a friend.
Yeah, or share with a friend. So yeah, all 3 are exactly the same.
Yep.
They're pulled from the same batch. They have the same flavoring. They have the same mixture of everything. They are now sold out. We actually sold out yesterday, I think it was, of the current batch of prototypes.
Yep.
So put a pin in that one.
And we don't know when more prototypes will come, but we will.
Yeah.
If ever you see them in the cart, that's where they will be.
And we launched that new prototype last Tuesday when we introduced the new flavors, which are Red, White, and Bam of Salty. And Red, White, and Bam is blue raspberry, cherry, and lime.
In case you wonder what red, white, and blue actually taste like.
And in case you weren't a child and had one of those Rocket Pops, I never had one of those as a kid.
I didn't either.
They were way too expensive.
Yep. They were the fancy popsicles, and we got the cheap ones that you broke in half by yourself.
Yep. In fact, I don't...
We didn't even have Otter Pops.
Yeah, Otter Pops were way too expensive. I don't think we ever had ice cream or something like that from the Ice Cream Man that came around.
Definitely not. You had to use your own money for that.
Yep.
I had ice cream from the Ice Cream Man, and I got one of those, like, baseball glove things that had, like, a big gumball in the middle. It was super gross.
Nice.
It's a core memory of grossness. It was like $5 too.
Yeah, so we introduced the new prototype along with the Red, White, and Bam Salty and the Blackberry Keto Chow.
Yeah, has anybody tried it?
It's really good. Joe was sad that he only had 3 of the Blackberry. I'm sure Dustin was sad as well. Dustin says he needs more of the new prototype. We actually, typically we will give ourselves a buffer of like 50, maybe 80 of whatever product we're selling. In this case, the prototype
I was texting my son.
we forgot to set it up right. And so we sold out, like completely sold out of the prototype.
That happens sometimes.
There is none. Like, I want more of the new prototype too.
Not even for ready money.
And I can't have any.
Let's stop talking about that prototype. How about we talk about
well,
Blackberry?
Well, the Blackberry is good. And the Red, White, and Bam is fantastic.
It's so pretty.
Now, Evelyn did have a question about the prototypes.
Okay.
No, you can't add the prototypes, the test things, to a subscription. There's no way to do that.
They're just it's just a one-off.
It shows up as an optional add-in
That would be cool
to
though,
a
wouldn't it?
regular one-off subscription.
But since we don't
one-off
know
order.
how often we're going to be running them,
Yeah.
we just don't have a way to add it to the subscription
Yep.
because it would be out of stock more time than not.
And these first 2 prototype runs, we had fairly limited stock.
Yep.
We were just really happy that we could even do the prototype.
Right, and it's been fun to get the
It has
feedback.
been fun.
Yeah.
Now, I want to point out one thing. People were reading on the prototype because it does have the ingredients on the page where you give the feedback.
Yes.
And it said stevia leaf extract, Reb D, and Reb M. And I think someone interpreted that as red dye.
Oh, that's not it. That's the
It's
technical name
rabioside
of stevia.
D and rabioside glycosylates M.
Yeah, because there are no colors.
No, there's no colors.
SALTT.
They're like, I was super upset to get a color that you're using artificial colors, is what they said. And we're like,
Did they Google it
no, did they see what it looks like when you mix it up?
and it
I don't
wasn't
know.
colored?
And one of our team pointed out that maybe they thought the Reb D meant red
Yeah, dye.
because
Yeah.
of the B and the D.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I could see that. Well, just so you know, there's no colors.
No colors in SALTT, no colors in the Blackberry Keto Chow, which is also very interesting because it's like it looks exactly the same as the raspberry, and it looks exactly the same as the butterscotch, and it looks exactly the same as all the other flavors
Yeah.
that we've introduced lately.
That are boringly
But-
boring.
Dustin says the bomb pops at Walmart are under $2 a box. That's still too much for when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, Marie says root beer and banana flavor
I
twin
feel like
pops.
they were really expensive.
Root beer and banana were absolutely, without a question, my favorite.
Yeah, those were in the package. You had purple, which is gross. You had orange, which is what was left over when everybody ate all the
Well,
root beer. And
The root beer
the
were
red,
the best.
I don't think there was a red one. Was there a red one?
Yes, it was cherry. They didn't have a blue one.
They didn't have
The
a
red
blue
one was the red one was absolutely cherry.
I don't remember having red. For some reason, I thought it was yellow, purple, and orange.
Yeah, Amy did a purchase and used her rewards points to get the prototype. Joanne's here from Arizona.
You skipped a bunch.
Did I?
Yeah, because
Look.
Evelyn said that my pigtails
Oh, I
were
did
cute,
see that.
and you didn't say it out loud.
I thought that Dustin said it.
No, Evelyn.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a thing for pigtails, so Miriam should know that. Anyway, but Carl was saying, I just watched the others eat Rocket Pops and looked on with envy.
Oh.
Amy says about a 5-pack to get red, white, and Bam as well. Yeah. And well, when we came back, I asked, how is the red, white, and Bam doing? How are we selling?
Asked that.
We've sold a lot of the 5-packs so that people can taste
Okay, so they
it.
can taste it. So now we need to see if people come back and buy it.
Yep.
So what do you guys think?
Now, a lot of
you like
people have actually tasted it. The red, white, and Bam was the first prototype that we did.
Yeah.
So if you had the first prototype, that is red, white, and Bam. So the feedback that we got on it was stupendous. So we're like, well, let's go.
Let's go.
Evelyn says coconut cream pie, a small batch. Yeah,
It's gone.
It was, so typically what we're doing now, since I think 2021, every new flavor that we introduce of Keto Chow comes out as a limited edition run.
Yep.
With the idea that we will sell out in 2 to 3 months, depending on how things go. So we're not ordering a lot, but we're not ordering a little bit.
Right. We're ordering enough to tell. If it lasts a long time, then we know it probably shouldn't live here forever.
And then we have a retrospective, also called a post-mortem, which is funny because it means after it's dead,
Yes.
where we look at how it sold and decide whether or not if it sold well enough to bring back. And we really appreciate people's feedback. We appreciate the comments that we get.
Yep.
The main decider of if a flavor comes back that was a limited edition, like the red raspberry, like the blackberry, is how well it sells. All else, if we can't hit the minimum order quantities necessary, then we can't order it. That's just how it is.
Yep.
So there you go. Yeah, coconut cream pie is indeed sold out. Joanne says, I just put a blackberry in the freezer for a creamy. I liked it as a shake.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And Jane is glad that SALTT is dye-free.
Thank you.
So is Keto Simple. Visual Keto is here. Jane says, I have so many food sensitivities. I'm grateful for the pure products you make.
Yes.
Now, speaking of ice cream, let's talk about using Keto Chow to make ice cream.
Okay.
What is the best ice cream maker to use with Keto Chow?
Well, you have an opinion, and your opinion is whatever ice cream maker you have is the best ice cream maker.
Yes. And then I think the second best one is...
a Ninja Creami.
And we've had multiple ice cream makers.
We still have a compressor ice cream maker.
It was like 2 weeks before the Ninja Creami came out. We bought like 5 or 7 ice cream makers and did like a roundup of all these different ice cream makers and how well they work with Keto Chow. And then the Ninja Creami came around and blew them out of the water.
Blew them away.
For those of you who don't know the Ninja Creami, it sounds like you turned on an industrial sander.
It's like a drill press.
But it grinds the pre-frozen Keto Chow down to a powder, and then you run it again and maybe a third time, and it turns it into just smooth, amazing ice cream. If you use a compressor ice cream maker or one of those freezer bowl ice cream makers, they will also make good Keto Chow ice cream. You tend to have better ice cream surrounding the blades, and it tends to stick stuff to the outside. That's one of the reasons why I think the Ninja Creami is such a good ice cream maker. Now, if you happen to have one of those ice cream makers, the other ones, and you can't afford a Ninja Creami, then what you have is great.
Right.
But the best one, aside from that, is definitely the Ninja Creami. You can find them on like OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace, often for under $100, and they just work really good. In the description of this video, there is a link. It says Chris's method for making Keto Chow ice cream. It's a video where I strapped a GoPro to my head. You get to see what it's like to be 6'2".
Yeah, it's a little tall.
I showed how to make Keto Chow, 3 of them. With a blender as a shake, 1 of them with a shaker bottle as a shake, 4 of them at a time to make into Ninja Creamies, 1 of them at a time to make into Ninja Creamies. Like, I just show it all, and then how you actually process it. Now, Jill said, I bought a Ninja Creami and made my first creation. It was mint chocolate Keto Chow with about 2 ounces of heavy cream. It came out powdery rather than creamy. What did I do wrong? I left it in the freezer for 24 hours before putting it into the machine.
She just needs to spin it again.
Yeah, there's 3 different ways you can do it. Way number 1, just close it up again and hit either respin or light ice cream. Just run it again. Method number 2, take a spoon, squish the powder. It's actually not, like, you just need to squish it and it's fine.
Yeah.
But the more times you run it on a respin, the smoother it gets and the more melted it gets, because it's imparting kinetic energy and turning that into friction, and that's partially melting the ice cream.
That was a boring thing.
It's super boring. Number 3 is add some liquid on the top, which will kind of melt the powder. But again, you can literally just squish it with a spoon.
Yeah, just push it with the spoon.
Or, don't worry about it. Okay, Miriam. Kelly asked, has anyone figured out a way to keep ice cream, the Keto Chow ice cream, soft enough to scoop? I've tried different gums, allulose, vodka, nothing works. It's still hard as a rock when it's frozen.
Yeah, I think that the only way is using a Ninja Creami.
It's going to be soft serve. You prepare it, you eat it right then. If you don't finish it, there are 2 things that you can do. Let's say that you eat half of a Ninja Creami ice cream, right? Method number 1, you put it back in the freezer. When you want to eat it again, take it out and let it sit there for like 30 minutes. It will soften on its own, and actually it'll be just fine. Or run it through the Ninja Creami again with the understanding. Remember how we talked about it grinding down the stuff into a powder? It will be a big poofy thing of Keto Chow powder, and then you squish it with a spoon, and all of a sudden it's ice cream and it's fine. So those are the two different methods that you can take care of it. One other thing I wanted to point out is when you freeze Keto Chow for a creamy, you will typically see a raised bump in the middle. That is not a problem. You don't need to worry about it. It's not going to cause any issues. In the creamy instructions, it says make sure it freezes flat. What they're saying is don't put one of those containers sideways, because then you have a not flat surface,
and it'll mess up the machine.
It'll pop the grinding blade off. But if you have one of those things in the middle, and what's happening is the outside of the creamy freezes, and the liquid is still, the center is still liquid. So the outside's not going to move. Now, as the center freezes, the ice expands, and it eventually goes whoop, and pops out through the top.
It's funny.
It's not a problem. You can flatten that. You don't have to. The blade will grind that
right
down
in the center
and not even notice it's there.
Yep.
Like literally, it is not a problem at all. Don't worry about it. In the video that I talked about earlier, we actually go over that quite a bit.
Yeah. Do you want to put a link to that video in the notes?
It's in the notes.
Oh,
so in the description of this video, it's like the 4th item down.
Nice.
After I started saying we're talking about ice cream. Let's catch up on some comments. What do you say?
I was going to say something, but
What's
then
that?
I forgot. It was before you started talking about...
Pontificating?
Yeah, I was thinking about ice cream.
Okay. That I had ice cream and you stole it twice?
Yeah, that's true.
But it was ice cream that you made.
Can I just tell you,
No,
of all
wait,
of the appliances that we use, the kitchen appliances, we use the Ninja Creami the most. We don't use a toaster.
Nope.
We don't use a waffle maker very often.
We do use a Vitamix blender, and that has
We
been
use a
well
Vitamix
worth the
blender.
investment.
That's true. Actually, that's not true. We use the Vitamix more than we use the Ninja Creami.
Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah. You use the chaffle makers pretty frequently.
but not super often.
No. But
Like
the
the
Ninja
amount of
Creami,
chaffles
we use a lot.
We use it
At
least a couple times a week.
The value that it brought to our lifestyle has it's been worth it.
Yeah.
Now, I will point out one thing. Our Ninja Creami that we have here at home is getting old now. And it gets really sad if you take a Ninja Creami out of the freezer and put it right in and turn it on. It will get about 3/4 of the way done and then stop.
Oh, yeah.
And then it retracts the thing and it leaves the blade
In the
the partially done thing. And it's terrible.
So what we do is instead of taking it from the freezer and putting it in, is we just put it in the microwave for 30 seconds.
Microwave it for 30 seconds.
And then put it in.
I have never, not once, had a failed creamy that I microwaved for 30 seconds.
It's funny because it's just that tiny bit.
Yeah. It just needs to soften it just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, let's see. Sherry is here.
Oh, Marie said Cherry was in the mixed bag of Twin Pops as well.
Oh.
That's funny. I wonder why I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, who was it? Dustin said that the Bomb Pops were like $2. Yeah, but the those popsicles were like 79 cents for a bag or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the cheap ones.
Super cheap sugar. Here
Do you
we go.
remember 10-cent candies?
I do.
We used to walk down to Reams from my house and buy 10-cent candies.
Dustin says, anyone remember the monstrous popsicles with Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein? I do. I've never had one.
I never had those either.
Never had one.
I never had like the fancy brand name stuff.
No.
It was always generic.
We're going to carry this for the rest of our lives. Our childhood of abnegation or denial or whatever. Supposing Darkness
That's why
likes the new
I always
prototype.
like Pop-Tarts
Sorry,
so
Marianne.
much, because I didn't.
Oh, yeah, because you couldn't have them.
Pop-Tarts.
Jane says, I was recently hospitalized And the nutritionist came to see me,
Jane, I'm sorry.
checked on Keto Chow's nutrition profile, and said I was doing a great job on my nutrition.
Yay!
I love it when people get to have an actual conversation
Right.
with a doctor or a nutritionist and say, hey, it's like the question comes up, is Keto Chow suitable for children? Keto Chow is not indicated for the use by nursing women, recent mothers, pregnant women, or children. Please consult with your doctor before starting any diet program.
Right.
Lawyer done. Are chicken nuggets designed for children? No, they are not. They are not suitable food for a child. They're not designed. If you took the nutrition information for macaroni and cheese and showed it to a pediatrician and said, should I feed this to my child? They would probably say no.
They probably would say yes.
But people feed their children that all the time. Whereas you have a product that is engineered for nutrition. Oh, you can't give that to a child. We legally can't tell you to give it to a child. We give it to our children all the time.
But now our children are adult-sized, so they can have a full serving.
Yep. Donna says, I got my blackberry yesterday. I can't wait to try it.
Nice.
Just made up a bunch, so I cannot make it until I get a clean shaker bottle. Okay. And by the way, we do recommend that when you mix up Keto Chow and let it sit for at least 30 minutes, overnight is better. And the reason why we say overnight is better is the flavor improves. And my understanding is that people like stuff that tastes good more than stuff that doesn't taste good. So it's not, it doesn't change the nutrition. It's not a requirement. We're not going to come to your house and put on upset eyes like a angry clown who likes to sing about Kevin Costner. That was a reference to the Weird Al concert last night.
That was so
anyway,
funny.
It was really funny. Anyway, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to remind you that it tastes better if you mix it up the night before. How long do they last in the fridge?
Up to 6 days.
So you can mix up a bunch, just like Donna did, and then when it's time to grab one, like it takes you, what, 2 seconds to grab lunch? Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And how long does it take to make like 18 of them?
20 minutes?
You can
15
just
minutes?
crank through them. Joanne says, I love the red, white, and bam.
Yes.
Arisa is here and got the coconut. I love the
Ice
coconut.
cream.
Great as an ice cream.
Nice.
Yeah, and coconut cream pie is indeed sold out.
Yep. Sorry.
And Arisa says, my husband even liked it, and he doesn't care for Keto Chow. By the way, if you did recently get one of the prototypes and you want to leave us feedback, please either go to the address that's printed on the package and type in the number of the one that you have, and it's all there on the front, or scan the QR code and go to the feedback form. If you call our customer service team or you send us an email with your feedback, we will look at it, and then we don't have any way to quantify that sort of feedback and include it in our decision process as to whether or not we should come out with it. So if you want to leave us real feedback that we can take action on, please use the feedback form for the prototypes. So
Right.
Evelyn says Bronson Nat called it an after-action report. Well, he was in the military, so
Yeah.
Steph's wanting everybody to order blackberry so that it can come back. Chocolate malt is almost gone.
All of it? I thought it was just the big bags that were almost gone.
Well, the big bags. The chocolate malt is almost sold out for the season.
Oh, wow.
So it came back as a seasonal flavor
You're
this
going to
spring.
start to cry, aren't you?
I have to go get a bag of it because it's one of my favorites. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, we don't even have
Dave
a container
Feldman
for
found
it.
out that we had chocolate malt. He's like,
And
how did I
you
not
even
know?
get it to him?
I did. I gave it to Sharon
Good.
while he was getting ready to give his presentation. I'm like,
Oh,
here,
good.
give this to Dave.
We could have just thrown it up on stage.
Risa says, your pigtails are adorable.
Thank you.
Ellen says, we always bought the entire Jarritas Mexican popsicles for our kids.
Ah,
And Danny says, it was great meeting you both on the cruise. Love the red, white, and bam.
yay.
Putting in an order right now. Why do we call it red, white, and bam?
because Bomb Pop is copyrighted.
Yep.
And so is Red, White, and Boom.
So is Rocket Pop, red,
So
white,
is
and
Rocket
boom.
Pop.
Like there was a lot of stuff that is trademarked. So
It's okay. This is fine.
Keto Simple says, has anyone ever tried the Dash ice cream maker?
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the ones that we tested.
Tried the Dash.
It does not
It
have
does about
enough.
half.
Yeah. There's not enough of the cold thing that you freeze to freeze into ice cream an entire serving of Keto Chow. Or even, well, it was a half thing, and it only did like half of it.
And then the thing was like,
I wasn't impressed.
Really you could, if you wanted to have like a little bit, so say you're going to have half a Keto Chow with your steak and whatever, you could use the little Dash and just pour half out and then put your Keto Chow back in the fridge and then have the half. But then you would have to, when you're done, wash the little thing, put it back in the freezer for you to have the other half later.
All right. Maria wants to know if we ever heard of the Frill machine in the gas station. Creamy is like that, but aside for personal. I have seen those in the gas stations around here.
You have?
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're over by the soda machine. It's like, they sell you the thing and you put it in there and it turns it into ice cream. It's literally a Ninja Creami there in the...
Oh, I have not seen those. That's probably where they got the idea.
Yeah. Teresa says, I got the Cuisinart ice cream maker because of your review. I probably should have waited, but I do like it.
Yeah, I feel that.
Marisa wants us to bring back coconut cream pie. It just barely sold out.
Yeah.
Platte River Keto is here.
Hi, Scott.
We got to spend the whole week with Scott.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, we had them at our dinner table on the low-carb cruise.
And we always go to dinner because our kids will meet up with us there.
Evelyn says Bronson and Nat want a cucumber flavored.
Ew.
So the way that Miriam feels about grape flavor, I feel she just doesn't like it because of the association with it.
No,
Tastes like
I just
like
don't
medicine.
like it because it tastes like
To
medicine.
me, cucumber tastes like ammonia.
Why are you
Like
tasting
it
ammonia?
burns. No, you can smell ammonia. Most of your taste is in your nose. You know that, right?
Okay.
Anyway, it burns my nose. Cucumbers, nah, I just can't. Like Miriam will be eating cucumbers at dinner, and I sometimes I'll
he's
actually
like,
get up
I can't
and walk
sit
away.
by you anymore.
Bonnie's here from Anchorage, and no, I didn't get to
Bonnie.
cruise with us.
Aw,
That's so sad. Let's see, Exposing Darkness added a scoop of chocolate powder to the chocolate malt and
Nice.
some allulose.
That sounds amazing.
Amy says liquid allulose will make it scoopable. Well, it will, but is that worth the effort of adding it in? I personally don't think so.
I think what this person was talking about was scoopable after you just pull it out of the freezer and then you can scoop it.
Yeah. I don't think, me personally, I just want to run it through the creamy and eat it right there.
I have noticed if I run it through the creamy and then don't have time to finish it, if I put it back in the freezer and then go to get it out later, I just wait 15, 20 minutes and then it's soft again.
Yeah.
So
that's literally the best way that I've found to do it. If
Yeah.
you want to go back and do a half-done thing of ice cream. Storm Chasing Gal says make coconut lime ice cream, added key lime. Oh, wow, that would be good. Keto Simple, it's almost as if pressure is heat. Well, they are intertwined. Visual Keto says I knew the red, white, and BAM would be awesome, so I just went ahead and got 2 30-packs. And we did, by the way, we said this in the launch video of Red, White, and BAM. The Red, White, and BAM was incorporated into the Ultra Variety Pack and the All Things Fruit, it's just called the Fruit Variety, the day of launch. If you bought it from SALTT.com or from KetoChow.xyz. Like, day of. If you buy it on Amazon, I have no way of knowing what you're getting because Amazon
Amazon is our friend.
I think they don't know how to manage inventory.
I'm sure they know better than some.
Yeah, maybe. Well, and one of the issues is you have all these distribution centers, and so we will send them product, and then they split that product up and disperse it out across the United States. And so depending on where you live, you will get inventory from the one that's closest to you or one that's slightly further away. They're all about the managing all of the movement of stuff, but sometimes we get a random return from an Amazon warehouse that it's packaging from like 5 years ago. We're like,
what?
Where did this come from? Anyway, Marie says, I made it in the compressor to be scoopable. I add 16 ounces of volume of Keto Chow, 4 tablespoons of allulose,
Okay.
or 2 tablespoons of vodka, or 2 tablespoons of vegetable glycerin, or 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of unflavored gelatin. And Amy used liquid allulose with a traditional ice cream maker before Keto Chow. There you go. Bitty Things missed out on the coconut cream pie.
Oh, sorry. Well, they bought some, just wanted to buy more.
Yeah, and Marie does point out that you can add tarragon,
Yep.
and it will change the consistency. I used to add tarragon to the Keto Chow that we were putting in the Ninja Creami. I don't bother with it anymore. I'm so lazy. Like, melt butter, mix up creamies, pour it in. I really am my best customer. Like, I've made this product literally for me. Anyway, Rhiannon stopped by the store today and tried blackberry and the red, white, and Bam.
Missed you.
Sabrina is here, says I finally made one. Felt well enough tonight to fix supper and make some Keto Chow for ice cream tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, we got to hang out with Sabrina and Mark a lot.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Marie says I was unimpressed with Pop-Tarts when I got a job and could buy them for myself.
I know. The thing is, I don't even like them that much, but it's it's the fact that you couldn't have them. You know, like, it was just that childhood, unfulfilled childhood, whatever, randomness.
Michelle is here, got first box delivered yesterday and got the surprise kit.
Yes.
Coach Bronson is here, and he says...
Bronson, we were just talking about you.
No!
No!
Don says they might be better in the fridge overnight, but sometimes they are sure good warm right after you make them. That is true. And Dustin says that's why I'm like hot Keto Chow. It tastes better, faster, because less good is not as good as better.
Too much tongue twister.
Well, what he said was true, though. When you use warm or hot water with Keto Chow, it dissolves all the stuff immediately, so you can just mix it up and drink it right away.
Right.
Which hot Keto Chow is amazing.
It is.
Whether you drink it when it's still hot or you heat it up after the fact.
Oh, Bronson's, yay, cucumber salty.
He says, will you be somewhere, or if you'll be somewhere without refrigeration, you can freeze it and take it with you and be thawed, but still cool.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I actually did that on Saturday. I was driving 2 hours, and we didn't have any PSMF macro Keto Chow ready to go. So I made some with so much ice. Like the blender was almost half full of ice when I made it.
Where were we driving?
I was driving to the Aspen Hills Owners Association.
I got out of bed at 11:30 a.m.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out that late, but
we got home from the cruise and I just crashed.
Yeah. No yawning, Bronson says. Keto Simple says red, white, and blue is trademarked. No, red, white, and blue isn't. But we wanted it to have a whimsical, fun name. And yeah, red, white, and Bam worked really good. Boom. Boom was our first choice, but it didn't happen. Risa says I gave Keto Chow the feedback on test number 4.
Thank you.
Yes, make it. Yes.
Yay.
Cindy is here,
Hi,
and so is
Cindy.
Bird Loves Paint.
Hi.
Says, wow, you must have had some bad cucumbers. Every cucumber I've
bad to him.
ever smelled. Like,
He just
and
doesn't
people
like
will be
cucumbers.
Here's the fun thing. My mom has the same
She
reaction.
doesn't like cucumbers or watermelon. You
Yeah.
at least like watermelon.
I tolerate watermelon. I do not like cantaloupe, and I do not like honeydew.
You do not like green eggs and ham.
No, I don't.
You do not,
Do not like them,
Sam.
Sam. I am. Cindy is doing beef, butter, bacon, and eggs this month.
Yes.
So, Bronson says we want cucumber flavored salty.
What? That would be gross. Just take some cucumbers, put them in water, and then put a clean slate in there.
So,
there you have it.
you want to know something fun, Bronson? I actually did, just for my own test, to see if it was even possible. I tested dill pickle flavored.
Gross.
And it was amazing.
Gross. Sounds gross.
I want to see if I can prototype that. Anyway, Jazz Puppy says, hello, everyone. Storm Chasing Gal says, wonder about mixing red, white, and Bam with skinny syrup and Rocket Pop.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's see. Duck, Duck, Go Fast says, I'm allergic to sucralose. Can I use the Splenda version? So, you mean the non-Splenda? Okay, so
you mean the core.
most of the flavors of Keto Chow use pure sucralose. There's 80 milligrams of not stevia, not Splenda, but sucralose. We do have the core flavors, and we do have the natural strawberry. The natural strawberry uses monk fruit, so there's no sucralose in that. The core uses, it's actually the same sweetener as SALTT, but there's less of it.
Stevia.
There's less sweetener. I think it's 200 milligrams of sweetener in SALTT and 120 milligrams of the stevia in the core, the sweetened core. And to your question, if that's what it was, you can indeed use the sweetened core version of Keto Chow in the creamy.
In the creamy.
You could also use the unsweetened with like 6 teaspoons of allulose.
Yeah.
Which would work really well. That's actually why we have the unsweetened one, so that you can customize the sweetener that you want to use.
Yep.
It's actually really cool.
But let me just tell you, when you do that in the Ninja Creami, it comes out a lot different texture than the milk-based protein because it's a beef protein. So you only have to spin it once, and it also melts faster. Yes. So if I were you and you're not needing to be dairy-free, I would put some heavy cream in there.
Yes.
Because that will help the texture considerably.
Yeah. Bonnie had a question about the sugar diet. I have not ever done the sugar diet as an experiment. Now, what I have done is back in 2018, I was doing an experiment where I was only eating Keto Chow and I was using different types of fat. And one of the weeks that I was testing, I replaced all the fat in Keto Chow with Sprite and Skittles.
That were not Diet Sprite.
No, I was keeping the amount of calories I was consuming per day at exactly 2,000. All I did was change it from...
And you did that for just 1 week.
Yeah, for 1 week.
Right.
In that 1 week, my triglycerides doubled.
Yes.
Now, we have seen over the last week or so, Harry from Loving It on Keto, they were doing
the sugar diet.
Harry's triglycerides went from 90-something to 700-something.
That's
dangerous. Not a good result.
No.
And just today, I was watching Ready, Set, Keto.
Which we love them.
And he's going to stop because he was trying the sugar diet and is not feeling well.
They were planning on doing it for 30 days or something like that?
His mental state, he's like, I am not in a good place.
Oh.
So I would not recommend to people doing the sugar diet. My personal feelings on it are very strong. In my estimation, or in my way of thinking, it's like I'm an alcoholic as far as sugar goes. And I don't think it would be a good idea for me to drink Everclear as a way to lose weight when I still have issues mentally with sugar addiction. So,
something else you didn't note or say out loud was that your plantar fasciitis came back.
Well, no, that was when I was doing a grapeseed oil.
Oh, I got mixed up.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, doing an inflammatory oil caused my plantar fasciitis to come back, even though my ketones were averaging 5.5 millimolars per deciliter that entire week that I was doing it. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on the sugar diet. I personally don't think it's a good idea. Now, in our last live stream that we did 2 weeks ago, we linked to a video by Nick Norwitz where he talks about the mechanisms behind what a lot of people are calling the sugar diet. It's the protein restriction that is doing it. This is well documented in the scientific literature. You can achieve better results by doing what's called a 4-to-1 ketogenic diet, which is basically less than 10% of your calories are coming from protein, which is extremely restrictive. But then again, if your only consideration is losing weight, you can always get a limb amputated.
Gross. Don't say that.
You're right. That is gross. Gina's here.
Hi, Gina.
Rocky Keto Amy says, I'm so lazy I haven't even melted the butter yet.
Oh.
And
We'll
Gina,
just put it on the
likes your
counter.
hair.
It's hot enough lately.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exposing Darkness says, the website says there's only 2 big bags of chocolate malt left.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to get it. Danielle says coconut cream is my favorite, and I have ordered 30, and unfortunately, it was out of stock.
Yeah,
I'm glad I had a bunch hoarded already. It's my favorite. Please bring it back. So many people love it.
Thank you.
It'll take a while to have
We
the,
need to do the data.
after action report.
Yeah, Bronson.
figured that out.
After action.
Dennis is here, and Rhonda says, I love. Oh, and he recommends leaving out some of the heavy whipping cream to add it to the creamy at the end. If that's
Yeah, you
what
can
want
do
to
that. Yeah.
Rhonda loves the coconut cream pie with macadamia nut milk. Now, you can use macadamia nut milk as the water component,
Yeah.
unsweetened macadamia, or unsweetened almond milk. Those aren't suitable fat sources. So, Robin wants to know, how much grief did you get from Mr. Too Crazy Ketos about bringing the grape Keto Chow back? It's hilarious how often he mentions how badly.
He's just trying to tease me.
Yeah, we know that he's joking. He knows that he's joking.
He's just trying to bug me.
Evelyn wants to know, how are we mixing up Keto Chow for protein-sparing modified fast?
Well, first of all, we're being careful, and we're using PSMF as the tool that it is, and we're not just
once or twice a week.
letting it run our lives. Although I've lost 5 pounds already,
Okay.
so I'm happy about that. What we've been doing is just adding
Just water with Keto Chow.
water, Keto Chow, 20 grams of
Egg white
protein and 10 grams of MCT oil.
Because,
as the fat.
that way we don't have to melt it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any carbs. I would use butter, but it's actually a little hard to measure. And I'm like, if we're going for higher ketones and everything else,
Right.
might as well. We also have, oh my gosh, we have MCT oil that I purchased 7 years ago.
That we should probably use or throw
That's
away.
that's what we're using.
Yeah, it's good. I have been really enjoying it.
And it's not like it goes bad.
I, however, know that it's not enough fat to make me feel full, though. So I typically will just have all my meal together, like do OMAD or 2MAD, but then have it be kind of close together, so I'm not as hungry. So that's how I've been doing it.
So with PSMF, we're basically mixing up Keto Chow with the least amount of fat possible, but we're only doing that 1 or 2 days a week.
Yep.
And then we're also getting additional protein outside of that. And that gives us the minimal amount of, anyway, it's a whole thing, protein sparing modified fast, also known as pure protein days. Yep. It is a tool, just like me. Bronson can vouch that I'm a tool. So would Travis. Which Travis says, my family's treated ourselves to some delicious strip steaks.
Oh,
enjoying
yummy.
them while watching the live.
Nice.
But yeah, PSMF is just a tool. It can be helpful for some people to break through stalls, get back on track. There was a lot of talk on the low-carb cruise.
Yeah.
Bronson gave an amazing talk along with Natalie.
It was so awesome.
Where he said, it was, I felt called out. He said, a lot of you are coming to the low-carb cruise looking for the next thing to try, the next trick, the next, like we're doing with PSMF.
The magic pill is you.
And their what they were telling us, their message was, you know what you need to do, you just aren't doing it. Like, you need to stop eating handfuls of peanuts every time you walk past the stove.
Yeah, stop opening the peanuts.
Yeah, I should put the lid back on there.
Every time I do that, I do put the lid on.
Not that I'm calling myself out, but I'm totally calling myself out.
Should I put a little Post-it note that says, no, Chris?
Yeah. It says, Max, do your homework. Chris, don't eat the peanuts. I know what I need to do.
You just have to do it.
Running a marathon is not complex.
Yeah, one foot in front of the other.
It's simple. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Sabrina says, I'm going to try and hide the coffee bean
by the way.
sea salt as a mix in my chocolate creamy that I bought on Bainbridge Island. I'm assuming not bought the Ninja Creami, but the coffee bean salt. There you go. Let's see. Chrissy says, my husband says red, white, and bam reminds him of Emerald Lagasse.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Everyone wants dill pickle salty. Me too.
You.
Like I did this test and I was like, oh, and the craziest thing? Who was it? One of our team was like, let's try it with a little bit of sweetener in it.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. A little bit of sweetener in it was amazing.
Except for that it tastes like pickles. And I like pickles, but I like them to be a pickle, not just... And granted, I have had pickle juice when I've been dehydrated and really needed it, and it hit the spot. But I just don't need it all the time.
And I don't know if we're going to be able to test out a dill pickle salty or a pear salty or a pineapple salty or all these different flavors. Our bandwidth is a little bit limited on how many flavors of salty that we're going to be able to make for this coming year, just because it gets with the size of the orders we have to place for salty, things get complicated really fast. Anyway, that's why we're so happy to be able to do this prototype.
Yeah, it's really been a cool experience.
Yeah, which worked out really good for the red, white, and bam.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Cindy says, the 6 tablespoons of allulose added to the core unsweetened flavors. Would that be the same if using liquid allulose? I don't know.
I think liquid allulose will measure differently. I think
well,
you have to.
So Carrie Brown, when we developed the unsweetened core, at her request, she said, you should make this. And I said, so we did. And she went through and measured out and tried.
She was really helpful.
And figured out the amount of sweetness that you would need to add. She actually figured out also that it was like 4.5 teaspoons of
actual sugar. Do you want to pull up that page?
I can. So if you go on
go to the core page.
Well, if you just here. It's
use the search button.
Strangely enough, it's not linked on the core page. Our team needs to fix that. It's not linked there anymore.
Okay.
What is core?
Okay.
Right there. Let me grab this link.
Oh, 22. Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
It feels like we haven't had
scroll.
Scroll.
Talking about why we made it, how it's different, what you can use to do it. And here we have, and it can scroll down to the side, by the way.
Oh.
This table. So allulose. Oh, sorry, it's 6.5 teaspoons.
Too fast. And I have done it, and it tastes great. I've actually mixed it without sweetener, and I didn't even remember that it was.
And pure sucralose, you need 0.08 grams.
Yep.
Good luck measuring that.
Yeah, it's so tiny.
Pure stevia, 0.15 grams. Now, all the stuff that you buy at the store, except for the liquid stuff. The liquid stuff
is
which
more
is
pure.
up here. Oh my gosh. It's scrolling weird. If you do the liquid stuff, because it's mixed with water, not the liquid allulose, that's completely different, but like the liquid Splenda, the liquid stevia, all that sort of stuff, it's easier to measure, but with the actual like concentrated powders, it's almost impossible to measure properly. See, and the whole thing about the sugar diet, I don't want people to feel bad about the decisions that they've made, that they've deliberately gone into this with good information. I do feel like there's a lot of people who are operating on less than good information. And me personally, I just don't feel like it's a good idea.
I feel like it can easily be a reason just to eat what you're not supposed to be eating.
Well, and okay, so
that's what I would do. I would justify it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know myself, so I don't want to go down that road.
well, it's like carb cycling. So for those of you who don't know, when you get into performance athletics, when you are at the top tier of working out and putting on muscle and running marathons and stuff like that, there are some instances where it can be helpful to use carbohydrates as a tool to increase your performance, okay? But when you do that, number one, you're not talking about sweet rolls and Pop-Tarts. You're talking about rice, sweet potato, white potato, like pure starches. And those are what people really are using. A lot of people are like, well, I'm going to carb cycle. It's like, no, you just want to cheat. And if you want to cheat, be honest with yourself. Come on. You can't lie to yourself. Marisa says, as a person with type 1 diabetes, the sugar diet is just stupid to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Maureen has a great question. What's the best way to use coconut oil in a cold Keto Chow shake? Don't use it in a cold one. You heat up the water.
Heat it up first.
You melt the coconut oil and use a blender. If you have tried to mix it in, and like you said, it just forms small beads, pour it into a mug.
Heat it up.
Heat it up. Enjoy it hot.
You should be able to put it back into the fridge once you get it mixed up so it can cool down. But if it does, it separates again, just warm it up again.
Well, yeah, because if you properly mix it in a blender while the coconut oil is melted and your Keto Chow, the liquid is warm, it should emulsify and not separate out. It's the same way that you do it for melted butter. If you do find that, again, that you're getting separation afterwards, it actually might be that your water was too warm. I've noticed that before. Evelyn says, so we can make a pickle juice salty. Just mix actual pickle juice with clean slate.
Yeah?
You could. Yeah. Lady Laughs a Lot says, I miss seeing you guys every day.
Oh, I miss you too.
Sabrina says, actually, I think I bought it in Sitka. I think you did buy it in Sitka, if I'm not mistaken.
What?
The coffee salt. It was over by the the Russian Orthodox Church, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe that was in Sitka.
Yeah.
Marie says, that sounds similar to Dr. Mindy's autophagy fasting.
Yeah.
Max 20 grams of protein, natural carbs like sweet potatoes, 50 net carbs, rest of the calories from fat. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. Well, as far as what's his name? Nick Norwitz is recommending, it's like it's a low protein, high fat, zero carb diet is basically what he's talking about. Will give you the same protein restriction effects as a sugar fast as they call it, but also the chemicals that are being released by your body because you're restricting the protein will actually having low carbohydrates, you not only increase those signaling chemicals, but also the spots they go into, the receptors. So not only are you getting more of them, but your body's reaction to them will be increased. So it's like double duty. It's just amazing. Anyway. Rhonda says, I used macadamia nut oil as the liquid component in place of water. There you go. Still use fat, like heavy whipping cream or ghee.
Nice.
Risa says, being that there's type 2 diabetics in my family, or type 2 diabetes in my family, I would not even try the sugar diet. Thankfully, I did not take after my dad and have not gotten it.
Yeah.
Sarah G is here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Wanda says, yeah, the alcoholic reference is perfect. Pickle salty was a great idea. I think it would be gross as a Keto Chow shake. Well, and it's funny, but the cherry salty works really well. All of the cherries we've tried for a Keto Chow, nope. Just tastes like cough syrup. Amy's been doing PSMF 1 to 3 days a week and try to keep my fat at 10 grams to 10 grams and 10 grams of carbs those days. I really enjoy eating anything on keto menu the other days. And Amy's been doing PSMF since 2021. Sherry says, what's wrong with peanuts?
Nothing.
There's nothing wrong with peanuts.
When you eat an entire container of them.
As long as you measure them out into 30 grams, 28 grams, 1 ounce, and only eat 1 serving full, they're fine. But guess what happens when you
drive by,
and then you drive by, and then you drive by. And then yesterday was PSMF, so I'm going to have a little tiny cup full of peanuts while I'm sitting at my desk.
That doesn't count.
I'm going to have another little tiny cup of peanuts while I'm at my... whatever. I'm over it. Yeah, that's the problem. A couple peanuts is not an issue at all. They work. It can totally fit within a ketogenic lifestyle. But if you do too many, then it can be a problem.
You can do too many of everything.
Storm Chasing Gal wants to know, did we see the whales? I saw plumes of whales.
I think, yeah. No, you're right. We just saw
We saw lots of bears. We saw lots of bears. Raptors, like
eagles.
Lots of bald eagles. So many bald eagles. At one point, we were driving past this like big empty field. The guy's like, "Hey, you see all those white dots out there? Those are bald eagles." I'm like, "No, that's a fence."
They look like a post.
It looked like posts. It wasn't. It was like 50 bald eagles in a line.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was insane. Mix says, I'm having hamburger patties topped with melted cheese for dinner, along with a couple strips of bacon. Yum. Nice. Oh, Crystal says, update, night shaking was fixed. I increased my fat.
Oh, good. Good. Thank you for letting us know.
And Rhonda says, love the cherry chill salty. It ain't cough syrup. And Jared, thank you. I miss you, man. Says, I also struggle with the peanuts and pecans. Or is it pecans?
Pecans.
Or pecans.
Pecans.
Smarter Every Day, Dustin, he's a YouTuber. He was actually at a pecan farm where the pecan farmer had the machine that shakes free the pecans. He's like, is it pecan or pecan? And the doctor's like,
I don't know.
I've got different neighbors who say it different ways. I don't think it matters. It's like, okay. Cindy says, my husband drive-bys are cashews. Me personally, I have had to take a stand against cashews in my life.
He loves cashews.
Because, like, literally for my birthday, I would ask for a container of cashews.
Yeah.
When I was growing up. Like, that was what I wanted more than anything else. So,
they're higher in carbs.
Cashews are actually quite high in carbohydrates.
Because I got some because even peanuts are hard to chew with my braces. I mean, they're not hard, but sometimes they'll get stuck or they'll bend the wire, so I don't eat them as much. But the cashews are softer. So I got some at the airport 2 trips ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I ate this whole bag, and it's like 25 carbs.
Sherry says it's the portion control and then screaming at you as you walk by, eat me!
Yeah.
Jazz Puppy says, how do you do salty and creamy? I don't know. I've never done it. I have seen people, Chris Cooking Nashville in particular, and Two Crazy Ketos, have used salty in a slushy maker by incorporating allulose and making a slushy drink.
If we had a slushy maker, I might use that.
I can't justify the expense.
We
do have an ice shaver that hooks onto our what's it called?
KitchenAid mixer.
Yeah. That actually works really good.
The only problem is the shaver sticks up high and you can't open the cupboard behind it. So that is not ideal. Or I would just leave it on there all the time.
Yeah, Marie points out cashews are the carbiest nut because they're actually a fruit and there's 10 grams of carbs in a quarter cup.
Yep.
Wow. Seeds of the cashew apple. Okay, we actually need to go. We started a bit early today because my niece graduated from Western Governor University.
Yay!
And so we're going to go over there and celebrate.
Have a graduation party.
Graduation. So that's why, in case you were wondering, you're like, did they start early? Yes. Yes, we did.
Yep, we did.
So, but thank you everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
And we will catch you next week, just in time for 4th of July. And don't forget to get the red, white, and bam in time for 4th of July.
That's right. And I would like to see someone making a blueberry pie.
Blueberry pie, but not with salty.
Oh, I mean a blackberry pie.
A blackberry pie. The blackberry keto chow.
Wouldn't that be yummy?
As a cheesecake with blackberries on top.
Wouldn't that be yummy? For the 4th of July. That's what I want to see.
Okay. Well, you all have a fantastic night, and we'll catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.